عبد الله صلى الله عليك يا ابن رسول الله روحي وجسمي وأرواح العالمين لك الفداء يا غريب ويا مظلوم كربلاء ثم السلام عليكم يا أهل العزاء الحسين جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته.
اللهم صل على محمد وآله.
أما بعد فقد قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم مثل أهل بيتي كمثل سفينة نوح من ركبها نجا ومن تخلف عنها غرق وهوى. صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Brothers and sisters in Iman, you will recall that on the first night when we started to discuss this topic of guidance that comes through the Quran and Ahlul Bayt, we mentioned that there are 5 different constituencies. Number 1 was, if we talk about guidance, then you have the participants and you have the guide. Then there is a road, there is a way on which the guide and the participants walk. And then there is a destination to which the way leads, and the guide and those who are being guided go to it. And above it all is the Creator, who is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself. So we saw that there are these 5 different domains. And in the first 4 nights, we have been very briefly trying to talk about the guide. Who are these guides? And what is this? Who created this all? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what we have done so far. Tonight we'll take one step ahead, and now we'll look towards the movement of these participants and the guides towards their destination. And that is best described by this hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What he said, Masalu ahli bayt, the example of my household, my ahlul bayt, is kamasali safinati Nuh, is like the ark of Noah. What about the ark of Noah? Man rakibaha, those who rode or those who ride this ark, naja, there is salvation for them. وَمَنْ تَخَلَّفَ عَنْهَا, and those who refuse to get onto this ark, what happens to them? Gharika, the drowned, wahawa, and they are all destroyed. There is therefore the diction, the language, the metaphor, the motif of a ship that sails across a river. And those who get into this ship are saved, and those who don't, they drown, they're destroyed. This motif you'll find appears in several du'as. For example, that dua that we read in the month of Ramadan, Dua Sahri, in which we talk about this, that there is a ship of people and they go towards the door of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, hoping that Allah will open the door for them and they will get into this safety. So you have this image that is always mentioned. Now today, therefore, we look at what is it, where is this going to, how is this, what is this journey, and where does this guide take us? If you read one salawat, then inshallah we'll look at that. This dua that we look at of Imam Zain al-Abidin yesterday, that he used to read after the recitation of the Quran, we saw that yesterday. Imam here now mentions about the benefits. What is it that you get from these two guides? And he mentions stations. This ship is moving towards the destination, and Imam mentions here several stations. He mentions 4 or 5 different stations. Station number 1, Imam mentions the life of this earth. This is where the two guides help us. Where? In this passage, our life on the surface of this earth. And Imam ﷺ says that these two guides will help you do 2 things. Basically, the most basic, the most fundamental things about us all on the surface of this earth. We need 2 most fundamental things. One is we need provisions to survive. And those provisions for survival, if we don't have it, we are in a state of poverty. And if we get it, we are in the state of prosperity. Therefore, these guides will help us stay away from poverty and all the time be in the state of prosperity. Poverty here does not necessarily is limited only to physical poverty of not having things, material things, because you can have all the material things of the world and yet you can be very, very unhappy, very, very uncomfortable. And therefore Imam says that if you have these 2 guides, you may not be physically, materially, you may not be that much endowed, but you will have enough provisions to be able to survive, to live how? With comfort. Therefore Imam mentions these are the 2 most fundamental things. To have your provisions of physical provisions so that you have enough food, you have enough clothes, you have a house, you have everything without having discomfort. With that comes all the ease and comfort. How? Mental, physical and mental comfort. Today how many people are so rich, and yet, how much they depend on medication. They have so much wealth, but they cannot enjoy that wealth. They have huge houses. There is no time to stay in those houses. There is so much money in the bank. They cannot use it on themselves. This is what Imam is saying. If you have proper guidance from Ahlul Bayt, you will have all the provisions that you need. All that you need. What is it that you need? Very limited things that we really need for survival and for ease and comfort. Remember, working so hard and making so much money, but you can't enjoy it. There's no ease. There is no comfort. There's no staying with the family. The children grow, they don't grow. You see them, you don't see them. You're so engrossed. Masumin have given example here of the worm, silkworm. They say, what does a silkworm do? The silkworm works so hard, collecting so much. Ultimately, they are drowned in it, they die. And who benefits from the silk? Others. This is what Imam is saying. This world here, this is station number 1. A very, very critical and sensitive station where you will live. But make sure that you will not be poor. You may not be very wealthy, but you will not be poor. And first very important thing is that you will have your comfort, you'll have your ease, you will wait, you're all the time. What do you say? That, Ya Allah, I have faith in you. Bismillah wa sallallahu la. You read it in the morning, every dua in the morning. Wa ufawwiz amri illa Allah. Inna Allah basirun fil ibad. And whatever I need, Ya Allah, I'll turn to you. You'll give it to me. This is the stage number one when Imam says, Ahlul Bayt and Quran will help you. Up to the time, and you do all that through lawful, that is also very important, through lawful means. You're not going to break the laws of Islam to acquire all this health and this, you'll have it. That is number one. Then Imam says, there is station number two. And this is when we leave this world, we are now, the ship is taking us somewhere else. Where? In the maut. When we have finished the life, this is station number one, you have enjoyed your life, you have done everything. Now begins the second stage, and Imam says, in the maut. This is the time when Amirul Mu'mineen says, curtains are all removed. What was around you all the time, you didn't see it. Now you begin to see. As a matter of fact, this life was a life of dream. You're sleepy. We're all sleeping. We wake up when death comes. That is the reality. This is what Imam is saying. Now comes the time of death. Sakaratul Maut. Imam says in the Quran, this is the most difficult time in the life of a human being, is this time when he leaves what he knew, the known. All you knew was this. And all, suddenly, we all will go through the stage of something which we did not know. Suddenly. All that we have, we are leaving behind. The family, the wealth, the comfort, the power, the clout, everything you are leaving now, you're now getting into the, and that is the time when Imam says, these are guides will help you. Help you from what? Imam says, number one, that he will help you, tajalla malakul maut. You will see malakul maut. Just imagine. Just imagine, suddenly you see Malakul Maut. We all see, it will come to all of us. Me, you, all of you. All of us. This is what Imam is telling the administrators of the time. Remember that with all that you do to us and with all you do to the Ummah, remember your time is very limited. You will soon leave this world. You will see Malakul Maut. And what will you go through? Imam says, rattling. You will start rattle. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. You will go through that stage where you will be shaking in wherever you are. That oppressor who killed so millions of Muslims, how did he live? For so many years he lived in that state of, what we call coma. When you are there, you're not dead, you're alive. I don't know whom I mean. The man who killed so many people, he stayed in that stage. And this is what Imam is saying. That tajalla malakul maut. At that time, when you be rattling, you've seen some, may Allah save us. You might have seen some people at the time of death. It's very difficult for them. Ruh does not come out. The body is shaking. All the people are watching, they cannot help him. He is in that difficult stage. Imam says, this is the stage where you will need these two guides. Hara Hamadani, Haris Hamadani. Imam called him Hara. Hara Hamadani. Hara asked, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, my days are numbered. I'm going away. What will happen at the time when I leave this world? Imam says, do not worry, I will come for you. I will come for you. And this Haris Hamadani therefore asked him, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, will you do that for me only? He says, I will appear to all people. The way they look me in life is the way they will see me there. Those who love Ali ibn Abi Talib will see him with eyes of love. And Ali will look with them with eyes of love. And those who have a hatred for Ali ibn Abi Talib, and the children of Ali ibn Abi Talib and these guides, they will see what is for them. This is Imam is saying, that you will then see Malakul Maut. And then he says, this Malakul Maut will do, what will he do? Number one, He will seize them. Allahu Akbar. This is the dua. You can see it for yourselves. That He will seize them. And then He will lose the arrows of terror and arrows of loneliness. He will throw these arrows at these people. Who are these people? Those who have no guides with them. Those who thought that Quran will always help them, it will not save them. And those who think only Ahlul Bayt will save them, will not save them. Ma'asumin have warned us. Quran and Ahlul Bayt together. And this is what Imam is saying. Arrows of loneliness and arrows of terror will come from Malakul Maut. And he will give a cup of poisoned cup of drink of death. Death is going to be very hard. Therefore, for those who do not have guides, for those who have guides, Ma'asumin, they do not have to suffer. They will not go through all this. Amirul Mu'mineen, Ma'asumin have said that prepare yourselves, yes. Prepare yourself, make yourself fit to have guidance. If we do not prepare ourselves, then this is going to happen. This is stage number 2, very difficult stage at the time of death. This is the beginning of the hereafter. This is the time when it is said, Ma'asumin have said, there will be those people when they see what is in store for them. As I say, Amirul Mu'mineen said, curtains will be removed. You will now begin to see where we are going, the journey. Where are we going? He said there will be those people when they see what is in store for them, will tell you, those who give them rituals, give them the bath, take your time, take your time. I don't want to go there. And he said there will be those when they see what is in store for them, will tell those people, hurry up, I want to go fast. This is what Imam is saying. That is station number 2, where the guide and these 2 guides will help us. Then there is stage number 3, and that is Barzakh. That is the life of the grave, the most difficult time in the life. Ma'asumin says the first night in the grave. Those who have slept, all of us, we have slept on comfortable beds. We have had so much of comfort in our homes. We had our families with us. We had all the provisions. And now what do we have? What do we have? One shroud only? And it's all soil. And it's all dark. And this is the life that we have to lead. This is a very difficult time. This is again the guides, it is said here, when the person is laid in his grave, at this moment in grave, then suddenly he will see 4 characters coming there. These are all friends. On one side, all friends. And there's going to be light. And he looks at those and say, at this time, everybody has left me. Who are these? One will say, I am that prayers, the salah. The regular salah that you prayed, that is me. Allah has now turned into a form that I have come to stay with you. And look at the other one. He said, I am that fast, the month of Ramadan. You fasted. That is what I am. This is Amal. This is what I am. And the third one, say, this is that Hajj that you performed. I have come for you. And this one is the charity that you gave. The khums, the zakat, all the charity Allah has sent to us. And then he says, then there will come a one who will control all of them. And with that will be so much light and so much brightness and so much room. And say, who are you? He said, this is the love of Ahlul Bayt, wilayah of Ahlul Bayt that you had. Guidance. This is the guidance that we are talking about. But what, as I mentioned, fourth thing, Husseini, a lover of Imam Hussein, will never leave his prayers. A lover of Imam Hussein will never stop giving charity. A lover of Ahlul Bayt will always try to go for Hajj. A lover of Ahlul Bayt who follows the traditions, follows all the requirements of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and more. These are the ones who will have these benefits. And this is what Ma'asumin have taught us. That grave is going to be difficult for whom? For those who don't want guidance. But for those who want guidance, this is for them. The grave is going to be, and this is what Imam says here, that Quran, if you read that, Quran will bring brightness in the grave. It will make your grave so bright. There's so much in the grave that the doors of Jannah will be open for you and the breeze of Jannah will come inside. But for whom? For those who, that's why Imam As-Sadiq used to say that we will intercede for Shias, for our followers. We will intercede for them. There is no doubt about it. But they will be on their own during Barzakh. This is the time when they have also to work. And you will see every time Imams have said this, stress this, that do not get this do not think that you will do all the dhulm in the world, that you will do, and you, because of a few things you do for us, we will come and save you. No, that will be on the day of Qiyamah. That is something else. Intercession is not going to be in the grave. You have to prepare yourselves. This is the message that Imam was trying to give. This is why I say this what Imam says is relevant in all ages. The way it is stated is relevant to all ages. Therefore Imam says that this is the stage of house of decay. Hululi daril bala, Imam says. This is the house of decay. You will decay. Your body will turn into dust. Insects will eat you. You have to prepare yourself. Then Imam says this is a residence, a long residence. Where? Between layers of the earth. How do you overcome this? How do you turn this, Imam says, into roomy and full of light? It is in your hands, Imam says. You can do it. And this is what they have been telling us all along. Then there is stage number 4. We'll stay in stage of Barzakh for a long, long time. Then Imam says there will come stage number 4. And that is suddenly, it is resurrection. We are now going to come out of the grave and of Barzakh. And it is said for some people, through going through all these difficulties, this is the verse of Quran, they will say, why do you get up us now? We are in this state, leave us here, Ya Allah, in this state now. No. There is now coming out resurrection, Imam says. And then Imam mentions one thing very important, that this is the time when now you will be moving. There is a movement here now. This is the time when إِذَا زُلْزِلَتِ الْأَرْضُ زِلْزَالَهَا وَأَخْرَجَتِ الْأَرْضُ أَثْقَالَهَا وَقَالَ الْإِنسَانُ مَا لَهَا يَوْمَئِذٍ تُحَدِّثُ أَخْبَارَهَا بِأَنَّ رَبَّكَ وَهَالَهَا يَوْمَئِذٍ يَصْدُرُ النَّاسُ أَشْتَاتًا لِيَرَوْا أَعْمَالَهُمْ فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَهُ. This Allah says. That time when the whole thing will change. The system that we have known will change. Things will be such that people will be getting, well, what is happening? The earth will say, now Allah has given us that authority to teach you, to tell you what is going to happen. You will today be going there to give accountability of what you have done. And for all the good things that you have done, even a small portion, you will see it. And all for the bad things you have done, you will see that. This is what the Imam is saying. And Imam here mentions here, Jisri Jahannam, the pool of which downstairs there is Jahannam. This is the pool. You will all have to move there. And it is said that this Sirat, this pool on which we have to move, it is as delicate, so delicate like a thread, and as sharp as a knife. And on this we all have to walk. And what Imam says, on this, Ya Allah, make me not shake. Because if you shake, make me such that my foot does not slip and I move very fast over it. How? Again, if you are traveling in this boat, Safinatul Najat. This is what the Prophet has mentioned. If you are in this Safinatul Hajat, this Safina of Nuh, it will move you all over the place. But stay, be fit. Allahu Akbar. May Allah make us all fit to be in that boat. Then we will have salvation. Otherwise, Imam says that what will happen on that day is you will go inside. This is the hadith said at the beginning. You will sink and you will be destroyed. This is difficult. This is the day of Jahannam. Therefore, we have all to walk towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I don't know if they do it here or not, but there is a tradition. On 21st night of the month of Muharram, Ramadan, they read the dua, Munajat of Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wa salam. Maulaya ya Maulaya. At the beginning you mentioned 8 different scenarios from the Quran. Amirul Mu'mineen says the difficulty of the day of Qiyamah. This is the ajr we get is for sitting. This is why we encourage people to come and sit. You see, you heard the hadith of Imam al-Baqir, that have majalis in your home. If you can't go to the center, have it in your home. Do it wherever you can. But it is not one thing. Not that I am against majlis or against azhar. I was born and I am surviving because of that. But we have to balance it also. We also have to do all is required from us. The wajibat we have to do. Some mustahabat we have to do. Then you see we can expect this. Otherwise we are going to be in difficulties. Then the last station, I'm cutting short, this dua is very long, I'm cutting short. The last station, therefore, is the day of justice. Now we are all in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we are being asked. We have to give accountability. And this is the time when As-Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam explains, and Shahid al-Baqir As-Sadr, in his book, he writes this, and I'm quoting from there, that Imam As-Sadiq is with a friend, and he's asking about the hukuk of others, the rights of others over you. He asks, can I take your hand? He says, yes. Can I press it a bit? He says, yes. He pressed it. Then he said, if I had pressed your hand, just like this, without your permission, on the day of Qiyamah, you would have a right over me to complain that he pressed my hand. Now think about that. That if we have hukuk of others, we have wronged people, and we have keep on wronging people, and we think on the day of Qiyamah there will be salvation for us. Just think about that. We have to try to live together, and this is the reason. This is another reason why we are here. When we sit here, what do we say? Silmun liman salamakum wa harbun liman harabakum. And then we say, those whom you love, Hussein, we love. And if you are all sitting here and we are all together, how can you say I love you if there is somebody whom you don't like? How can you say that? Therefore, we have to forgive each other. Whatever problems we have with one another, we have to forgive each other. Why? So that when we go to the day of Qiyamah, Allah will forgive us. This is the lesson when Ma'asumin is giving. So that when that day you come, on the day of Qiyamah, you should come in such a way. Imam mentions here an image, again a metaphor. Metaphor of what? Of people who will come with bright face and people who will come with dark faces. And Imam says, Ya Allah, make us those people with bright faces, not with those with dark faces. Therefore, we have to make ourselves so much in this world that on that Qiyamah, when they describe about Shias that are coming on that day, you'll be surprised. When you see that the way Shias of Amirul Mu'mineen will come on that day, that the whole world, all those people will be surprised. We are not talking about Abu Talib, for example. We are not talking about the Prophet. We are talking about ordinary Shias, when they will come with light. But what Shias are this? Which Shias are this? Which followers are this? These are the ones who have totally submitted themselves to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And their guide is who? Quran and Ahlul Bayt. And they follow Ahlul Bayt. And they do what Ahlul Bayt wants them to do. These are the people. And therefore, then the Imam, having said all this, says, Ya Allah, then make us benefit the intercession of the Prophet. So intercession of the Prophet is there. Imam Musa ibn Ja'far alayhi salatu wasalam said, our Shias will never always stay in Jahannam. No. But some of them will spend hundreds and thousands of years in hell for what they have done. Ultimately they'll come out, yes. But they will spend a lot of their time in Jahannam. Dua Kumail, when you read, see what Imam Amirul Mu'minin says. It's not him, it's some of us who will be in hell. And we will be screaming and crying and saying, Ya Allah, now that we are in Jahannam, it is not Jahannam really that burns us. What burns us is that you are unhappy with us. We say that. This is not story. This is not, Masumin have warned us. Therefore, Imam says that then you will get intercession. Intercession from the Prophet is going to be there. A group of people went to Hazrat Fatima Az-Zahra salawatullahi alayha. These are the ladies. The ladies go to him and say, oh, you know what, our husbands have sent us. Okay? And why have your husbands sent to me? Said they have heard that in the day of Qiyamah there will be intercession, that we will all be saved. Is this true? They want to ask. Fatima Az-Zahra salawatullahi alayha says, true, but with that condition. But you follow what we tell you. If you follow us, if you do what we tell you to do, yes, we will all intercede for you. But if you don't follow for us, then there is a cost. There is a price that you have to pay. Therefore, we have to be very careful with all these things. To cut a long story short there, and then Imam says in this dua, he says four things. Four things he says. What does he say? If you read one salawat. Therefore, having said all this, there are four keys. Imam says, I'm giving you these four keys. Take these keys with you, four of them. What is it? Number one, وَأَحْيِنَا عَلَى سُنَّتِهِ. Ya Allah, we ask, Ya Allah, make us live on the sunnah of the Prophet. Key number one, we have to live on the sunnah of the Prophet. What is the sunnah of the Prophet? That inshallah tomorrow we'll talk about the sunnah of the Prophet. But what is it? We'll see. From this we'll do tomorrow. So, Ya Allah, make us live on the sunnah of the Prophet. Key number one. Key number two, وَتَوَفَّنَا عَلَى مِلَّتِهِ, and make us die on your creed. What is the creed? What is the millah? What is the millah of the Prophet? The sunnah is the way the Prophet lived. What is the millah? The way you behave, your culture, the way you present yourself in the public, the way we dress, the way we address, the way we move. This is the millah of the Prophet. The way of Islam, identity. We'll talk in the last two majalis, inshallah, about our identity and our children's identity. The way Imam tells us. All in terms of what the Imam tells us. So live by the sunnah of the Prophet and live by the seerah of the Prophet. This is what we are saying. Key number two. Key number three. وَخُذْ بِنَا مِحَاجَهُ. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Take us on his road. Same question of road. Put us on that road. Put us on that sirat. Which sirat? Sirat al-Mustaqim, which we read every day in the Quran. So that we stay on the millah of the Prophet, we stay on the sunnah of the Prophet, but also we stay on the way of Allah. Inna hadaynahu sabila. Inma shakira wa inma kafura. Let's not be among this or that. Let's be on the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's the fourth one. Wasluk bina sabilahu. Again, sabil. What is it? Make us travel on this path. Staying itself is not enough. Let us travel on this way. It's not enough just to say here, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadun Rasulullah, Aliyun Waliyullah, Wasiyur Rasulullah. Yes, that is all right. But that is not enough. Saying is not enough. Doing is required. And then, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. What an Imam, what a guidance, what a guidance, what we have not received. Allahu Akbar. Waj'alna min ahli ta'atihi. And make us among those who are obedient to you, obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All this Imam has said, asking us, obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We love you. Imam al-Baqir tells his wife, Fatima. You know, Fatima is the wife. You know, I'm so much worried. I'm so much worried about our followers. Then the wife asked, why are you so much worried about them? I said, I'm not worried so much about those who are with us. I'm worrying about those who will come. Those whose Imam of the time will be ghaib from them. I'm worrying so much about them. Then the wife said, why? He says, because those who live with us, all those people who live with the guides, they saw the guides. And because they saw the guides, they live, there is always that guidance. They see it. Seeing is believing. They see us, which we do, we help them. But those are the people who will not have direct access to the Imam. They will live in a place, in a time where they will not have access to the Imam. Therefore, I'm worried about them. What will happen to them? Lest they lose their way and get lost. Therefore, waj'alna min ahli ta'atika. And then the final thing that Imam says is what? Lead us to his pool. Pool as-sirat al-mustaqim. Lead us to where? Kawsar. And give us a drink from the cup from the Prophet himself. This is what the dua says. How does that work? Inshallah, we will look at that tomorrow. This is the guidance. These are the nights that we should sit and ponder. These 10 nights are ni'mah, that we should sit and ponder and try to correct us. I mean, I'm not telling to you. I'm saying this to myself. I do not know about you. I'm talking about myself. I have to ponder. I have to improve myself, lest the arrow of death strikes me. It will strike any one of us, any time. We must all be prepared. And this is the message of Karbala. It is that night of Ashur, when it became clear that tomorrow will be the day of martyrdom. It is said that the Sahaba, all the companions of Imam Hussein, they gathered together, and under the leadership of Habib ibn Mazahir, whom we mentioned yesterday. And he says, listen guys, listen friends, tomorrow is the day. As far as we are alive, we should not be in the position where any one of the family of Imam Hussein is hurt and we are alive. Because if any one of them is hurt, and this will hurt the Imam, and we do not want to be there when the Imam is hurt. This is what they said. And this is, yes, we will all do that. At the other camp, all the youths from the family of Ahlul Bayt. Remember, the eldest one is Abbas, 32 years. The rest of them, Allahu Akbar, were teens or in early 20s. They all gather, and this is what they say. You know what should happen tomorrow? Tomorrow we must make sure that none of the companions of Imam Hussein, none of them is hurt. Because if any one of them is hurt, Mawla will be hurt. We should always be the first to give our lives. We should make sure that the Sahabas are not hurt. This is the knowledge. This is staying with the guides, and this is what happened on that day. However, on the day of Ashur, therefore, it happened that the Sahabas went first, and the children, family of Imam Hussein, went later on. when it became clear, again here, narrators are the two traditions, two narrations, that among the children of Bani Hashim, the first one to go, some say, is Ali Akbar, that he was the first one. He went and he was martyred. And the other tradition, they say Ali Akbar went last. Whatever. What is important is the children of what is known is among the Bani Hashim, the children to go first were the children of Aqil, because Aqil is the family member in the family of Abu Talib. Aqil comes first. Then comes Imam Ali, so and Jafar, and then Imam Ali. Therefore, first to go were the children of Aqil. Maqatil mentions 3 children in details of how they were martyred. They mention 3, they mention others' names, but 3 are mentioned in how it happened to them. One of them is Abdullah. This is that Abdullah, you'll remember, when the martyrdom news of Hazrat Muslim came to Imam Hussein addressed these children, including Abdullah. And what did he tell them? That your father has been martyred. Now you take your mother, take your sisters, and go. I let you go. Go and live, because these people will just, they're after me. What did he say? No, we will not go. We will not. How can we go? What face will he show the Prophet on the day of Qiyam? We will stay with you, and whatever befalls you will befall us. Therefore, when now there were no Sahabas left, it says these youths, Allahu Akbar. Just imagine these young children, all of them, under 12. The eldest 32 years, they now embrace each other, and now they are preparing to go to give their lives. And first of them, one who comes to him is to Imam Hussein, is Abdullah. Imam Hussein tells him, Abdullah, still there is time. Go. Say, I cannot go, I will not go. Abdullah therefore goes to the battlefield, and they say he fought. He fought strongly and valiantly. What happened was he put his hand, he wanted to clear his perspiration or whatever reason. He put his hand on his forehead and somebody struck an arrow. This hand of his stuck here. This is how he fell down, and this is how he left this world. He called out Imam Hussein. He said, oh my uncle, my back. This is the words of Lahuf, that, oh my uncle, my back is broken. Imam Hussein went to him, and now there is a second child. This is by the name of Muhammad, Abu Sayyid. Abu Sayyid is a brother of Muslim. His son is young, very young. Muhammad. This child is murdered, is slaughtered on the day of Ashur. When Imam Hussein has been martyred, and when the Khayyam, the tents are on fire, this child comes out of the tent. Children are scattered, running all over the places. It is at this time this child is slaughtered. This is the second child, this is the second member from the family of Aqil whose martyrdom is mentioned. Then is mentioned the martyrdom of these 2 young children, Muhammad and Ibrahim. How they ended up in Kufa, it is not known. There are 2 different versions. There is one version that says that these children, when Muslim ibn Aqil went to Kufa, he took these 2 children, very young children with him, 7, 8 years children. And when he was there, when things turned against him, he handed over these children to Qazi Shureh. Qazi Shureh kept these children for some time, and then he wanted to sneak them out of Kufa. These children were caught, and therefore they became prisoners of Ibn Ziyad. This is one version. The second version is that these children, no, they were with their mother, they were in Karbala, but that night on which the tents were put on fire, these 2 children were kidnapped. Whatever it is, these 2 children ended up in the prison of Ibn Ziyad. He kept them in the prison for over a year. Therefore, these children were martyred after the events of Karbala. Only the situation is the mother did not know where these children were. No one knew where these children were. These children were lost. They stayed in prison for 1 full year. After 1 year, the jailer one day took pity on them when he knew who these children were. Therefore, he set them free. He said, oh, my children, you go, run away, go away to Medina, find your way. Don't stay here. Young children, 7, 8 years old, where would you go? Alone they were in Kufa. Ultimately they ended up on a tree. A woman comes to fetch water. When she looks in the well, this is what those who write books say. She saw like two moons, two crescent moon, the shade on the surface of the water. So good looking, so innocent these children were. The old lady looks up and sees these kids and asks them, "Oh, are you human beings or are you angels?" The children say, "We are children of Muslim Ibn Aqil." The lady takes them to her house, and the mistress of the house happens to be beloved lover of Ahlul Bayt. She keeps these two children, hides them in the house. Late at the evening, her husband comes back home. He is tired, he is angry. She asks him, "Why are you tired? Why are you so angry?" He says, "The two children of Muslim have run away from the jail of Ibn Ziyad. Ibn Ziyad has put a wager on their heads. Anyone who brings them to him, he is going to be given a lot of wealth. I've been looking for these children all around Kufa, couldn't find them till my the animal which I was riding died. I am therefore very angry." The woman is quiet. She doesn't say anything. The man eats and goes to sleep. Muhammad and Ibrahim are in a room at night. Then Muhammad wakes up and Ibrahim wakes up. They exchange what they saw in their dream. Both of them had the same dream in which they saw their father Muslim. They saw Amirul Mu'mineen. They saw the Prophet. And Amirul Mu'mineen and the Prophet tell Muslim, "Your children are alone in Kufa, but tonight they are going to meet you." The two brothers hug each other and they start crying. Haris, the man who was looking for them, hears the children crying. He comes in the room, he sees these two children. He asks them, "Who are you?" The children look to him and say, "If we tell you who we are you going to save us? Are you going to protect us?" He says, "Yes, tell me who you are." They say, "We are the children of Muslim." As soon as they say this, it is said, this man Haris comes forward, beats them severely and tells them, "I've been looking for you and you are hiding in my house." Then he drags them, he takes them to a pillar in the house and ties them like they are prisoners. The children of Muslim, Muhammad and Ibrahim, spend the whole night tied to a pillar. In the morning, Haris drags these two children and takes them to the shore of the river Euphrates. His intention is to kill them. The children explain to him, "Ya Sheikh, what will you get by killing us? What will you reply to the Prophet on the day of Qiyamah?" He does not listen. Ultimately, the children ask him, "Then just allow us to pray 2 rakah and do our shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala." Haris tells them, "Pray as much as you want. Your lives will not be saved." The two children of Muslim, this is the message that they have for all the children of humanity and all the Muslims, that even at the last moment, do not forget your Creator. Praise to Him whatever happens to you. For ultimately there is salvation, there is comfort in the hereafter from your Creator. After the prayers, now the children of Muslim are ready. Ibrahim tells Haris, "If you have to kill us, then kill me first." Muhammad says, "No, Haris, kill me first." Haris comes forward. What should I tell you? What I can tell you is Ibrahim's head is in the hand of Haris. His body, Haris throws it in the river. These are the two brothers. They've always lived together. They suffered together. When the body of Ibrahim falls in the river, it does not sink. It does not move. It stays there like it is waiting for the other brother. Then Haris cuts the head of Muhammad and takes the body and throws it in the river. And the two brothers, they embrace each other and the bodies wash away. Haris takes the two heads and goes in the court of Ibn Ziyad. This event is happening after the events of Karbala. In the court of Yazid and Ibn Ziyad, the heads of Shuhada had been presented before. Remember this. None of this had any effect on Ibn Ziyad. But it is said, when Haris took these two heads of the sons of Muslim, when Ibn Ziyad saw it, he stood up. Then he sat. He stood up again and he sat. He stood up and he said, "Oh Haris, what heart did you have to kill these children?" I will say, what Ibn Ziyad, when he saw these heads, he was shocked. What would have happened to the mother of these children? If she was told that your children were murdered, were slaughtered like animals in Kufa. Historians are quiet. They do not tell us whether the mother of these children ever came to know what happened to her children. Every night, the mother would have been praying, Ya Allah, save my children. Let me see my children. Her wishes were not performed in this world. Maybe when she went, she left this world, she met her children. ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون مات من حسين
Ya Hussein. Ya Hussein. Ya Hussein. Ya Hussein. Ya Hussein. Ya Hussein. Ya Hussein.